So and I have Kings jerseys on. We're sucking up to Pete. You guys remember Pete and Joe from last time, and we're gonna roll on a whole bunch of stuff. But one thing I've always contended and always stayed up on is state of the art tackle, and I'm gonna bring Joe into this too because this is something, as short as I am, you get on a yacht or a private boat, you cannot put that. I can't even squat down that low to get the rod on the rail. So here's a deal that will sit into your rod holders on your boat. You could have it up there, and it's even perfect for me. So I mean, it's absolutely innovative to do the railroad fishing on a private boat now, and just the most efficient way to do it. And I've always contended that's the angle you want. Any of these guys that you see with the rods up high, why would you do that? You're getting 1/10 of the pressure up here than you are down here. So keeping it down low and pointing it is what you want for efficiency. So, Joe, I'll let you get the history on this. And
well, what happened is, Danny, is we watched a lot of guys in the last few years fishing these bluefin, and getting down on your knees is it's tough. We're all getting older. We've been around this game for a lot of years.
Absolutely.
I saw a couple of ideas a few years back, and I looked at them and said, I can do something better than that. The one thing that I did see is one guy had a V up on top of a piece of PVC, or it might have been aluminum, and I saw that thing snap his rod.
Yeah, V would do
Rod
that.
got in there,
You need to round it.
and the fish went one direction to another, and it just snapped his rod. I go, well, you know what? It's time to get to the drawing board here. So I figured, you know what? It's got to be able to swivel up there. So this swivels
that is
with
so
the fish.
sweet.
Yeah. Fish goes left, it goes left. Put your rod tip with it. Follow your fish. Like Danny was hitting on just a minute ago, staying at this angle right here, you got all that power. These guys, I go by all these boats as we're fishing out there, got these guys down on their knees, and they're just getting worked.
1/10 of the pressure up there. Why
1/10.
would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean,
You're not doing it justice.
yeah, especially if you, depending on the rod, especially if you're using a glass rod, it's even less.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
easy
we're
on your
using-
back too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Pete can attest to this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a photo of Pete right there on my boat last year, and I mean, coming from a trainer's point of view, what do you think, Pete?
Yeah, well, you gotta take care of the back. The back take care of you.
Yeah.
So
No fatigue after
yeah,
that fish.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy on your shoulders,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you could catch. You could catch a 100-pound bluefin and go have a lemonade and come back and catch another one and
Yeah.
not be worn out.
Yeah. It's the angle, Pete.
Mm.
You're exerting that much more pressure down at that angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a winner. And have it swivel, awesome, unbelievable.
Yeah. Definitely a game changer with that swivel piece there. So what we've done is this one here is a 30-degree angle one. And basically what you'll do is you'll just notch it out. I mean, everybody's rod holders are different. This is a 10-inch deep to the pin. There's some that are 11 and 12, even close to 12 inches. So this one is designed for a 10-inch. So it's notched out right there. It'll hit that pin, locks into place. It's not going anywhere. I make them all at 12 inches. So you get it to your boat, you put it in there, you figure out where your pin is. You can either trim off what you don't want, or you can, at 12 inches, it's going to sit right about there, which is perfectly fine also, So after that, you got 12 inches down there, you got 15 inches to the top of the saddle. We've actually, with the new models here, we've actually opened this U here a little bit more to just give you that room to just get that rod in there. Once you get bit, once you got that fish to the back of the boat, you just drop that rod
Well,
in there.
cool because it swivels too, though.
Plus
I mean,
it swivels,
it's not fixed.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you can keep your angle.
It is such a game changer.
Yeah.
It really is, having this swivel motion here. It really helps out a lot. And then if that fish goes from midship to stern, you can actually just pick your rod up. You got a guy next to you there. Pick it up, put it in the next rod holder. It's that simple. It just pops in and out. So now you can end your game right there at the stern of the boat where we like to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of finishing the game off at the bow and then having to drag
No.
that fish all the way back.
And lift it up that much
And
higher?
lift it up. Yeah,
No,
that's-
we
that's-
take the stern.
That's not for
Yeah.
me. But yeah, definitely for this skiff fishing, the guys with all the Parkers, the Makos, the Grady Whites, all these new center consoles coming out of the East Coast. What I've done is created a straight one, because if you notice on a lot of these East Coast boats that are coming out this way now, a lot of their rod holders up around the bow area are just straight up and down. They're not 30-degree until you get back to the stern. So we started making the straight pipes as well, because I started getting a lot of call for that. So we have both options. Actually, this one here, you can see where it's a little bit wider. This is a newer model. So you can see just, it's a little bit of a difference there. But both work perfectly fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
I think.
Well, you guys seen it first, and I'm, like I said, but the innovative side of it's, the juices are flowing. It always flows there first, folks. So keep an eye on that, and we'll be implementing that soon. The small boat's perfect.
Yeah, it's not just for us guys here. We're we've been around this game a lot of years, but it's for the young guys too. You know,
Absolutely.
don't be embarrassed to use this thing.
No,
gonna
like
put
I
more
said,
fish
Joe,
on
it's
the
the right. It gives you the right angle.
It's the perfect.
You want it angled down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
you're getting that much more pressure. To get 100%, you're pointing the rod at the fish.
Right.
And what are these guys with these slow pitch doing? You got these wimpy old rods, wimpy old tips,
Yep.
but eventually all you see them is pointing it straight down, and it's the spectra and their drag on their reel that's bringing that fish in.
Bringing the fish in. Yeah.
So, but if you can implement the recoil and recovery on the rod to lift those fish, that much better.
Yeah.
And you can do that with this. That is awesome.
End of the day, you're putting more fish on the boat easily.
Yep, us old guys, we're all in. We're all in. Not Pete. Pete's still in great shape.
Oh, Pete, come on. We're
He's
sitting-
an animal. He's still an animal out there.
We're sitting at the dinner table on the Independence. Did you see Pete running by the window? He's hooked up again.
Oh yeah, that's Pete. He's gonna be first in.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, you
That's
can
it.
remember taking him on the early sport trips when we would go out and got you broken in on those things. I mean, you got to do, for God's sakes, you got to do a lift pull right off the bat too.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
there's
that's
the
some-
angler.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was fun.
right.
Yeah. So.
On that wide open albacore
Exactly.
bite.
And I got broken in. Danny got me broken in on the Cherokee. 40 guys on the boat.
Oh yeah, you
know?
become very competitive when you learn how to combat fish too.
I just
you
been
know?
used to my
Yeah.
center console 21-foot Starcraft, and
Yeah, but you picked it up so fast, Pete. I mean, you're unbelievable, And we had all the blessings. We had a little help. We got some of the first Trinidad's ever made. Toyo would
yeah.
take care of us, Toyo Shimano, and very
Kozo,
blessed.
yeah.
Thank God Toyo and Kozo are hockey fans.
Yeah, that's right.
So true.
Hey guys, we got a question. Joe Surwald says, this looks like a more refined model. The ones I've seen are kind of a work in progress. Is there a link for the product, Joe? I mean, where can people buy these things?
Oh, you know what? Right now, because we're so new, I'm just asking everybody to please text me. Don't call my cell because it picks it up as spam. But you can text me at 310-497-0600. And I'll get right back to you and put your name on the list if you're interested in purchasing one.
Good deal. Good deal. Did you want to continue on?
Yeah,
we
yeah,
good-
keep going, you guys.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Oh, no, you can. We start
Pete.
taking some of the questions.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's no
Yeah,
more
yeah.
questions. Oh, wait a minute, let's see. What's up, Mr. K? Oh, it's David Derwinkle saying hello to you.
What's up, kiddo? Where you been at school? Now, here's something interesting. One of the things I've been doing is I want to start a fishing club, and I'm at San Pedro High School. And a lot has to do with it. And Joe, you got to feel that way too. Growing up in Pedro, I grew up here, fishing here with my grandparents. Got my first yellowtail when I was 5 years old on the horseshoe here.
Yeah.
And so there's so much, history and so much memories that are been brought here, Pete, for us. And one of the things I want to do is start a fishing club. And what happened was a couple of years ago, I was at ICAST in Orlando, and I'm walking down the aisle, and some kid goes, "Are you Danny Cadota?" I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Well, how'd you know that?" Well, I look up, and here's this college bass teams, you know, and I'm looking at them, I go, "Oh my goodness, you kids get paid to bass fish. You get scholarships for bass fishing. How great is that?"
Yeah.
You know, and had I done that, you know, that would have been even better reason to go to college. You know, I did that anyway, but you know, it was off to the side. But you know, you start looking at that opportunity, and there's some kids that, you know, I mean, if we get a chance to channel them, sometimes, you know, they may not be focused or really don't know, and a lot of us don't at that age. But if you could start at that particular time, you know, get weaned out, maybe go as a pinhead on one of the boats, start learning some of the, you know, putting some time on, because you're going to need that for your license. And then I'm going to follow it up with, I'm going to try to propose a pre-captain's program for these kids. Because not only just for fishing, but I mean the harbor. My son-in-laws, both the captains, you know, Steve's supposed got a 500 ton. They're up on a job in Frisco, and Christian Contreras, one of my other sons, has got a 100 ton. And so you kids would have the same opportunity here in San Pedro if we, you know, got that through, you know, the system, and you'd have a little edge when you came out, because there's, you know, so much opportunity for you to work down to the harbor and to come on the boats, and you'd be more than welcome, I'm sure, on all of these boats, you know, if you have that too, and that license could be your career. It could change. It's a game changer for a lot of kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. Changed my life. Yeah, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
A lot of the guys that we worked together with back in the day are now running tugs, port pilods.
Well,
even.
look at Salas, Danny Salas,
Danny, what a
Mark,
incredible business.
Mark, and Paul.
Paul, yeah.
All three of those kids had their
Yeah.
bikes tied up at the docks next
Yeah,
to us
yeah.
on the Sport King, and I was next
Exactly.
door on the Mustang. You know, but you know, this is how they got their starts, and they're all unbelievably successful.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity for.
Hey, Dan Smith wants to know, he says, "Hey Joe, with that being up so high, would you recommend we beef up our rod holders with backing plates or something like that?"
No, absolutely not. There's no need for it. I think you may want to back up the ones on the stern of your boat if you're going to be dragging these Mad Max around. You know, I mean, I've seen that bite on my boat. It's pretty violent. When those things hit a Mad Mac doing 12, 15 knots, I mean, that back of your transom is it's rocking and rolling there, you know? So, but these wouldn't.
Those Mad Max, I put it in the boat. It was taking drag on my 50. I had to push it almost all the way up just to keep that thing when you're running at about 17. You're running a little faster,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Unbelievable. The drag that's
It's
in
insane.
it. Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah.
Unreal.
So, answer to the question: no, you don't need to reinforce your rod holders for these. We have not had any problems whatsoever with them. So, the nice thing about these things is you're not dragging that rail rod across your nice gunnels. I mean,
Yeah.
I just had my boat completely repainted, and the last thing I want to see is somebody dragging a rail rod across the nice gunnels, you know. So that's a really great feature with these. Getting that rod angle, as you explained, Danny, at the right angle, not up here, like when you're down on your knees and you got the rod up like this, you're at the disadvantage. You know, you're not doing anything. You're not.
Yeah. You're only putting 1/10 of the pressure
Yeah,
on
one
that you are if you're pointing it down.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
it definitely is a game changer, no doubt about it.
Hey, one of Danny's students, David, wants to know, what's the best color for a Mad Mac? What do you like best?
You know, we got bit this last season on the sardine pattern. The 200, swap out that single hook in the back and put a 5/0 treble on there, and we were 100% on that. We never lost a fish.
That's the bluish tint, right? The bluish tint with the spots.
Yeah,
There you go.
the sardine
Yeah,
pattern.
the sardine pattern.
That one's, it got bit every time it went out in the water. And really, I kind of look at that as a reaction bite. I think that bluefin just sees something shooting across the water, and it's a reaction bite. You know?
You know, in the past, being on sport boats, we could push it up. Of course, pushing it up on a sport boat,
8 knots.
yeah. But trolling might be 6, 7, 8. Yeah. You get a nosebleed going 8, 9 knots. That's full bore. But you know, it's funny those Mad Max when you're in a yacht or like your boat, Joe. I mean, it is. There's so much pressure on it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy.
yeah,
Like you were saying,
yeah.
you're 50 wide.
Oh,
You couldn't
keep pushing it up,
yeah,
pushing it up,
yeah.
adjusting it, pushing it up, pushing it up, and
It's
that's
still not
an
enough.
ATD, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah,
insane.
pretty heavy drag.
It really is insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Unbelievable.
it is crazy.
What else?
David says he's excited this season to run charters on his boat with those Mad Max. Pete, you were just in Florida, right?
Yeah, just came
You got
back.
an update? What's biting? What's going on there? Where'd
Well,
you
we
fish?
went down Thursday night and came back Monday. It was a quick one. I went with Dave Gans. He was a former player. In fact, he was telling me he scored 54 goals in the International League. And he played a bunch of games with the Kings. And but anyway, he's my fishing buddy. We go to Florida together quite a bit. And we made one trip. The only thing is you got to mortgage your house to go because we went in a 41-foot yellowfin and with 400s on it, 0.7 miles per gallon. Don't even get a mile per gallon of gas. We went out 70 miles.
You can hear it. It's like,
But fishing was amazing. There's a underwater an underwater spring, and it's on the chart. And our captain Jesse, he found that for us and dropped down right away. Bingo on flat fall, and we're using bucktails with a small dead herring on it, like little herring this big, and African pompano, 40-pounders, and big barracuda, amberjack. In fact, it's 175 feet of water, and the fish, they come up. You got to babysit them after you catch them because we released our fish, and we were trying to babysit a amberjack, and the barracuda just annihilated them. Like it was just like scary. It made you think about the soldiers in the war that in the South Pacific. They didn't have any chance against the sharks, and we saw actually sharks. We saw one mako. We couldn't get him to bite. We threw some barracuda out there and swimming around, but he wouldn't bite. But yeah, we amberjack, barracuda, and African pompano. The African pompano you can only keep 2 per boat. The amberjack, some people eat them, but I don't know. We didn't have any cooking stuff this time with us in our Airbnb, and we're only one day, and hockey one day, and fishing another day, and looking around at the marinas and stuff early in the morning. That's fun for us. So yeah, it was a great trip.
Well, one guy here, Joe, says at least gas is a lot cheaper in Florida than it is in California.
You're right. Yeah, it is $1 cheaper.
Is it?
Yeah.
yeah, but
wow.
tell them how much you burned, Pete.
I think we burned $1,100 worth of fuel.
Oh my God! And on a one-day trip?
Yeah.
Ouch!
4 guys, right? 4 of you?
Me and Dave and the captain.
3.
3 guys.
Okay.
$1,100.
That's
huh?
cutting it up pretty high there, guys.
Well, the captain, he owns the
My boat
boat.
was better.
Yeah,
It's his
yeah.
boat. So,
yeah, but it's still, I mean, that's a lot of fuel.
So he didn't make much money that day. And then he has all these other bills and everything else
Yeah,
to take
I
care
mean,
of his
that's
boat.
brutal.
And, but amazing boat. The wind was blowing pretty good on the way out, pretty good lump on, and but we went right along like just
Get
It's a
on
nice
top
boat,
of it.
that yellowfin.
Get on top of
Yellowfin,
it.
a beautiful
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're beautiful. Seen a lot more of those out here now.
All right, we've got Isaac, and he says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Happy late birthday, Danny." There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, here we
Yes.
go. Oh,
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 my
it broke
brother.
the string.
Hey, I like it.
All
That
right,
was
all right,
great.
all right.
Perfect.
There
That
we
looks
go.
like the same hat I wore in class all the time. This is back in the corner.
Dunce caps, yeah.
Sister Mary Knickknack put me back there.
Sister Mary.
She let me have it, let me tell you. Tony Russo, what do they call sport boats, head boat? Why do they call sport boats head boats in Florida? Anybody know?
Come on, Pete.
They've always called them that, head boat. It's like a cattle boat. There's another term for it. Yeah.
David wants to know, do you guys think that the bluefin tuna are going to bite the knife jigs again this year?
Oh, they'll bite them.
Yeah, right?
They'll bite them. I mean, there's so much squid out there right now. They have really no reason to even come up and show their noses right now. But we'll get them.
Yeah.
We'll get them. Hang in there, guys.
Yep. Soon.
We'll get them.
Joe says, I can't wait to hear the reports coming back this weekend. Kind of exciting. Yeah, I mean, the Royal Polaris going down on an 18-day trip saw stacks of bluefin on the upper 500, not that far out of Ensenada.
Right.
And then we had a research boat come down from San Francisco and look at Tanner and Cortez. They saw fish behind Clemente. Pretty exciting, Danny.
Absolutely. A couple years ago, I think after the Fred Hall show, it was March, and we ran down Colonet, which is real close by, just a little further down where you're talking, and we did a one-stopper down there on all quality fish, and then moved up 30 miles up Punta and next day nailed a whole bunch of smaller fish, that 50 to 80 grade,
Oh, insane.
So it was, it's unbelievable. So I'm sure they're there, so hang in there. It's going to happen, guys.
You're just getting loaded with birthday wishes now. Joe Serwald, happy birthday, Danny. David
I
says,
better
happy
take-
birthday, Mr. K.
Thank you.
You don't have to wear that hat
I better
all
take
the
this
time.
thing
It's up
off.
to you. Yeah,
it's
throw it over here.
Kind of looks
Yeah,
like
you
that
can-
shark's head, doesn't it? Okay. There you go, Phil.
Another guy said happy birthday, man. Jeff Food.
Thank you,
so
guys.
It's crazy. What do you guys think now? So I did the way too early albacore forecast the other day. So listen, we had a 10 degrees Celsius line of water. That was the cold water. Now we're at peak cooling right now. But we're overdue. I mean, we're supposed to start warming right now and it's staying cool. That 10 line was up there off Point Blanca last year. And we caught albacore from there on up. Better is the further you went. But we caught albacore from that line. That line has moved 350 miles south now. It's below San Francisco. And we have this interesting dynamic, Danny. Maybe you can project into the future. We've got a La Nina, strong still, shoving that line toward us. Okay, in a perfect world, and the albacore conceivably, I've been saying this for so many years, people think I'm nuts, but could be, and then down in the equator, we've got an El Nino brewing, and that's predicted to affect us in the summer. Danny, what the heck is going to happen this year?
We just don't know. I got to tell you, let's go back to 1983, which was El Nino. We had tremendous big eye fishing, small yellowfin fishing. I mean, to the point where the Royal Polaris on the big long multi-day trips, they were circled by a guy in an Avon. And I wish I got a picture of that for Frank. Of course, he would have killed me. But anyway, with Point Loma, the close view, right? And we're going, holy, but everything was up here, right? Once again, the biologist said, because the water's so hot, and you probably remember the kelp died locally along the coast.
Yeah.
The biologist said the oceans are going to die. Well, Ralph Miller, ended up, I don't know whether he was just ready to get out of the business or whether it was the timing or
Catherine
whether
Miller's father?
Catherine Miller's dad, Bobby's dad,
Yeah.
probably was concerned. But, and this is why I've never given the biologists much credit, because I've just seen too many things going the opposite way. And so, at the end of 83, they sold us, and that's when we bought H&M Landing, okay? 84 and 85. Now, I got to tell you, June of 84, I'm sitting at Purse St. Rock, okay, Clemente, and I'm shooting over with my 10 dB, listening to albacore stops going on down there, fishing off the mushroom and in those areas, And by the time we got down there, it was full bore. We had record albacore years in 84 and 85. So, Mother Nature how do you can't predict it. It's just, whatever happens, all the stars start lining up, and bingo,
Yeah.
everything's good. But we've always kind of taken it and go with it. We'll be able to survive whether it's bluefin, albacore, yellow, dorado, whatever. We'll take it. But I think we got a very
We're
good
due.
shot. Yeah, we're due. We are due. Pete and I, let me tell you something. We went on a trip that it cured me of killing fish. Joe, you've been on those trips too, where we filled up a truck,
Yeah.
But that one time, we went with Howard Pastano, who was the Toyota guy for Staples Center, and Howard's group, and we got into one, and I think in the morning I went like 9 for 9, and they were putting them down, so I didn't know how much we had, and then we get into one, we were in it for hours, and it was ridiculous. And after that, we got back, we said, "You got to be kidding! This is what we caught," because it kept going down, and I said, "No more."
Truck came home like this.
Yeah, yeah. So he said, "I'm done with fish killing. I'm done. We'll just take what we can clean and whatever we want. Friends, put in your orders and
Exactly,
take whatever you
yeah.
want." But yeah, that's it. But yeah, so we just don't know. We just don't know. We just take it as it goes. But whatever it is, we're gonna have fun. We'll adapt. Whether it's white sea bass coming up here, or it doesn't matter. I think we're gonna be good. But that squid on the banks. And
Yeah.
all that squid and volume down deep, those big bluefin, they don't have to come up and put
they
their
have
noses up in the, up in the higher reaches of the surface. They stay down there and just chow on squid. Fatten up.
Why leave?
Yeah.
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 Hey, hit that like button, everybody. Jeff Fuchs says, great show, you guys. They are totally enjoying it. What's your guys' feeling on the ban on salmon fishing in California? You guys know about that, or you have an opinion on that?
No, but
or-
I pretty much just disagree with anything that the state of California does. I mean, they've seemed to proven it politically and everything else. What they do is wrong.
Bob Osborne is a fisheries expert, and he contributed to our show Tuesday night. And I told him what you said about, the biology and everything. And he said, there's a few good ones, but Danny's right. It's just a shame that they won't listen to the guys who are out on the water day after day after day. And there's this kind of elitist, like, hey, I got a PhD from wherever, and you're just a dumb fisherman, so don't even try it.
Right.
Instead of listening.
Right. And I think I've told you this before. Russ Eisner once contacted me. Dan, we got to go up to UCSB. I said, "Well, what for?" He says, "They're trying to put impose these MPLAs around the Channel Islands." I said, "Well, based on what?" He said, "Based on a depletion of sand bass." I said, "Well, what time of year was it done?" "Well, it was in the fall, winter."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah. Well, I guess you would have a depletion, being that they migrate back to Mexico at that time." But I said, "Who's doing this?" "Well, these researchers at UCSB that are trying to get their biology degrees, doctors and whatnot." So we're not dealing with a very savvy crowd or not hands-on experience, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
We're on the water. We see this. I have the same problem with cow cod. You got cow cod closures. Well, then why are we getting them in 30 fathoms?
Right.
I mean, we used to have to go 80 to 100,
80,
80
yeah,
100 plus, right?
Yeah, easy.
Now they're traveling up into 30. It's telling me they're a little overpopulated, but that's what happens.
Yep.
And the knowledge of that just, is very slight compared to, just using common sense.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That's for sure.
Good stuff, guys. Hit that like button. Enjoying this a lot. If you have any LA Kings old time questions, Pete Demers is here to talk about it. I love talking about those old unknown players, Mike Corrigan and guys like that. I love to talk hockey. So if you have any questions about that, please ask. All right, Jeff Fuchs is asking me, what is the best bait for shrimp fishing or tricks? I've actually done shrimp fishing. Have you guys done it?
No.
Guess where I did it?
Where?
Taiwan.
Really?
Oh,
You
wow.
go into these, they have these pools, like a pool. And you go in there and the girl gets you a rod and you get a little bait. I can't even remember what the bait was. And then there's like a casino there. So what I think goes on is the Taiwanese guys say, "Hey, sweetie, I'm going shrimp fishing today." Boom, into the casino, And then they run out and say, "Can you scoop me up some shrimp, please?" But anyway, so you fish
Oh,
and
God.
I swear to God, I got into it with Patrick, my son, and this girl that I know from Japan who stayed with me in my house in Torrance when she was
Yeah.
going to school. We're freaking like battling. It was
Oh,
so much
fun.
fun, and you can feel them,
Wow.
and you got to set the hook on them, and then they have like a barbecue, so you barbecue these fresh shrimp. It's freaking fun, and I don't know if that's what
Wow.
I don't know if Jeff's talking about that or not. All
Sounds
right.
like fun.
It's pretty fun. Dan Smith
Unreal.
says, Danny, if we can get Phil in a red beanie and red Speedo, and you with your birthday hat, we'll get the Halbacore 100%.
Done.
I'm not getting in a red Speedo. I don't care what you guys. That ain't happening.
I'll go get
Oh, I was
mine
gonna
out
put the
front.
hat on. Come on, come on, do it for the team. Do it,
If I
do it
get-
for our industry,
I
Phil.
have to admit that people will lose a lot of weight after seeing me because it'll kill their appetite for months. That is for sure. Tony Russo, El Nino in '83 put the Paradise Cove Pier in the water. There were some nasty storms in '83, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Redondo
that
got
was
hammered.
El Nino. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we got something that parallels with it, right? So right after that was a warm water year, but 84 turned into 84, 85 were record albacore years. So you know, I still think everything cycles, folks. You know, I just Mother Nature does that, and I don't think biologists or any of us have that magic, the crystal ball to tell you that. You know, so there you go.
Hey Joe, I got a question for you. You told
Yeah.
me a story out here that I would love you to tell everybody about a really special stick that you were
Oh.
given by somebody who might be here in this room.
Yeah. So when I met Pete, which was actually through Danny Cadota, who Danny and I have known each other for
You lived
God,
on the
ever
next
since-
cul-de-sac over.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could throw a
but-
rock and hit your
yeah,
house.
but when my dog used to go up to your lawn every day and take care of his business, and I get the phone call from Danny, "Can you come up with a bag, please?"
Well, that's why we concreted everything.
That's exactly right. But yeah, I met Pete through Danny, and after meeting Pete and hanging out with him, becoming good friends with him, I had always told Pete that I was a big fan of Mario Lemieux. I just thought that man played the game like nobody else. He had finesse, and he was a gentleman. He really was. He was an ambassador to hockey like Wayne Gretzky. And Pete always knew this in the back of his mind that, you know, my favorite player was Mario Lemieux. And so the Kings went out on a road trip, and they were going to play Pittsburgh. I think it was Pittsburgh, Detroit, and you guys went on to the East Coast and came back. So as soon as the team got back into town, Pete called me up the next morning, and he says, "Hey, Joe, come up to the training center. I've got something for you." So back then, I just parked my car with all the players and everybody else, and everybody knew who I was there. So I walk into the training center, and as I walked in there, all the players just so, "Hey, Joe, Pete's got something really special for you." I said, "What?" You know, and I didn't know what he was talking about or they were talking about. So I went into Pete's office there, and he says, "Look behind the door." And behind the door was Mario Lemieux's stick. And he had, after talking to Pete, he had taken the tape off the blade of the stick, and he had signed it over to Pete to give to me. And Pete had told me, he says, "You know, Joe," he says, "you need to hold on to this stick because Mario got injured during that game. And this could be his last game played stick." You know, so I still have that stick till today, and I don't think he ever did come back to play after that injury.
Yeah, I don't know, Joe.
Yeah.
My memory's good, it's just short.
So I've got a Mario Lemieux stick that is probably his last game played stick, you know, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. It's
Good
cool
deal.
stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
Pete, do you ever fish with many players? And you know, you said Dave Gans, you fished with him, but any of the guys back in the day, Marcel Dion, any of those guys? Crazy about it?
Rogie
Vachon,
Vachon,
yeah.
he came to Rhode Island and went fishing with us and striped bass fishing and sent him home with a bunch of lobsters and some frozen fish. And he fished like 4 or 5 days with us back
Wow.
when we went to Martha's Vineyard and fished. And
Was Rogie as nice a guy as he seemed
yeah,
like?
great guy, really,
Seemed like it.
really calm, relaxed
Yeah.
guy. You know.
Great goaltender.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think he and I can't remember Gary Edwards maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. They were.
They may have won the Vezina Trophy.
Yeah,
one
they
year.
were together
Yeah.
many years.
Yeah, they were a great couple. Great team for goalies. Rogie played most of the time, but when Gary got in there, he did pretty good.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, good stuff.
Danny and we went out
we
with
Felix
Oh,
and
yeah, that's
Adam
right, yeah.
Deadmarsh.
Adam Deadmarsh and
Yeah,
Felix
that was
Budman.
unbelievable.
Budman, yeah.
White sea bass.
Joe
Yeah.
gets us one of these. What was it? A scarab or something?
Donzi, yeah. it was
Donzi with
belonged
these.
to the company I worked
Yeah,
for.
you go so fast you get a nosebleed, right? So Joe takes it, he takes the wheel, and I said, when we get the Catalina, I'll take it, right?
Yeah.
But Joe runs it over in the dark, and we must have been going we were flying
60,
in the
70,
dark,
yeah.
right, Pete?
Yeah, yeah.
All I remember is Deader saying, "Man, this is worse than the beating he took was worse than any game he had on the knees." So we get there, and I said, "Okay, we'll get the anchor ready, guys." What anchor? Sheared the anchor off. That's how hard we were pounding. Joe was pounding us, right? So we get around the corner, and here's the whole San Pedro fleet, Long Beach fleet lined up for the sea bass.
Ironbound, yeah.
Yeah, and Joe, somebody else could have got away with it, but I couldn't go in there with that boat. They all know me, and they'd come hunt me down. So we waited. I think Peterson limited out.
Yeah, they called us.
They
in.
called us.
Yeah.
Went in there, just drifted against the kelp. I think what did we make? One cast each, Pete. We were done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Actually,
Unbelievable
we
thing.
actually unhooked a couple of fish
Yeah.
just to get a bigger one.
Yeah. By
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah.
By accident
No,
fishing
no,
game.
no, that one's too
And that's-
small. Let's get another
sorry,
one.
it came
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was unbelievable
Yeah.
that day.
Unreal.
Jeez.
Man, you know the fans love you when they start throwing money. Isaac just threw a $20
Whoa.
bill up there. He said, "Go get a pizza now."
Arigato.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We appreciate it so much. Jeff says, "Hi, Pete and Joe too." Pete, what is your favorite way to catch yellowtail? We need to push the CCA to save our fishing rights. And CCA is trying really hard. Wayne's a good man, and
Oh yeah.
they're working
yeah.
hard at it. They
Yeah.
really are, Jeff.
Yeah.
Favorite way? Well, why don't we get it from each one of you guys?
Surface
Favorite-
iron, the splash and
The visual, right?
That's right,
Seen
yeah.
them blow up
Yeah.
on that iron.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Excited. Joe?
For me, I don't know. I gotta say, I think it's the yo-yo. I really do. I just like that rush of that just grinding and then a stop, and then trying to grind through it. For me, that's a big rush.
Yeah, me too. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I love both.
San
Surface
Pablo
iron.
area.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, there's nothing
Take that
better.
all day.
Plus, you get to fish heavy line if you're into
Heavy
that.
line. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Danny?
45, baby.
Service iron. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So
yeah,
we got
surface.
2 surface iron and 2 yo-yo iron. 2 yo-yos, me and Joe, right? No question.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff wants to know, Pete, this is a question for you. Don't hear anything about Wayne Gretzky anymore. What happened to him?
Well, he has. We have an alumni association, and also he's involved with Edmonton's alumni. But so much pressure on him when he is around, and so I think he's playing a lot of golf and
Enjoy private.
enjoying a private life, and because he always made himself available for the fans, and I think he needs a rest now. So when we have events, doesn't usually come, but he paid his dues, that's for sure. He's always available.
Gretzky's a great player, no question about it. But I remember rooting against him at the Miracle on Manchester.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not a Gretzky fan. I didn't like Dave Semenko. I didn't like any of those guys, and that was one of the best sporting events, if not the best sporting event I've ever attended.
Yeah.
How was that to be behind the bench?
Nice. Oh,
I mean, wow.
I still give myself a shake and say how lucky I was to have the job I had.
Pete, a bunch of people out there don't know what that is. So what was the situation going into the third period? Playoff game versus the Edmonton Oilers, right?
Well, we were down 5-0 or 5,
Yeah.
5-0, and came back and won the game.
In
And,
OT.
in overtime.
Slap shot by Daryl Evans, maybe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That sound
The
right?
owner left, Jerry Buss left, and so did half of the 8,000 fans that were there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know. It's not over till it's over.
You know, I'm not so sure I stayed, Danny, because I thought they were going to do it, or I'm just too cheap, and I said, I paid for these tickets, I'm staying. So my dad, myself, and I think my brother, we all stayed, and it was great.
Not till the fat lady sings.
Exactly,
You know.
exactly. So what do you think, Joe, this coming season is going to bring us? You want to speculate, take a guess?
I am definitely looking at a phenomenal bluefin season again. I would like to see more of that yellowfin as opposed to last year. Last year we just got a little sprinkle of it, and we did fairly well a couple of trips, and then there was that one trip that fish was everywhere. I mean, everywhere I looked, I saw it was yellowfin. It wasn't bluefin, it was yellowfin. But that fish, as soon as you got up next to it, it would just spook out. It would sink out and go away, and it may pop up a couple of miles away, you know, and you'd run up, and you know, it just didn't want to play. And I think because of all the seiner pressure that we have here now, they're not getting much money for that bluefin, so they don't want it. But as soon as that yellowfin shows up in our waters, it's got a net around it. You know, I mean, yeah, they got to make a living too, you know, but yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of that, of course. Yeah, I enjoy that yellowfin fishing.
Danny, what do you think?
I'm looking at from historical deal, you know, looking at what it does for everybody. Albacore.
Yeah.
There's nothing brings more people out of the woodwork than albacore. Very easy. It's a probably the best eating fish. Number one. Number two, it's a great fish to start a lot of people on. You know, it's not like you have to have the special tackle for bluefin, you know, even yellowfin, the light line. But, you know, with an albacore, it's a rent rod, 20-pound test, you know, number 4 hook and a chovy. And you know what? And, you know, I kind of agree, you know, that, you know, the way they've imposed the limits, it makes a lot more sense. Like I said, that one time we all came back from Sandy, and I said, never again. You know, you're coming back and your lights are hitting the overpasses, you know.
I think
We're
actually
done.
Did
We're
we
done
lose
though.
a fish
Yeah.
out the back of the truck?
Probably.
Yeah, that's right when we were going through that border checkpoint there at San Onofre. I looked out the rearview mirror and I saw a fish fly out the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And I go, I think we just lost one, guys.
A breezer. Breezer of the 405.
That would have been a good traffic report to watch the next morning.
Yeah, careful, guys.
Albacore was found on the 5 freeway.
Yeah.
No kidding. Hey, Travis Bright wants to know, you guys got any white sea bass tips for the Channel Islands? Any tips? You guys can go one by one if you want.
Me personally, I catch them just by sheer accident. I'm just being honest. It's a lot of, there's a lot of skill there. I mean, it's watching that tide, direction of the tide, conditions around. I have a phenomenal sea bass fisherman that has a boat near me in the marina, and that guy, he really does his homework. He's amazing. He's very amazing. He really is the sea bass king, you know.
That's awesome.
I know Alan Watson is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Alan.
another guy, you know, he's
Yep.
been that way for years.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows how to fish sea bass.
Absolutely.
You got to put your time in, I think, to be on top of it. And
Oh,
like Danny says, if you don't learn something new every day, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah.
So,
Danny, how about from the angler's perspective? What should the angler do? Dropper loop?
Well, you know, it's actually
is it
pretty.
different if they're
I
shallow or
mean,
deep?
to be honest with you, I've seen them come to eat on the corner right here at Point Furman, which is about as you could throw a rock out there and hit it, you know, and it was unbelievable. But for the most part, you know, I mean, you got to be prepared. But it's simple fishing. I mean, you could either get them with a, you know, a little sliding sinker on it, and you know, and generally, if you're fishing squid, fish the big hooks, you know. I'd fish an oversized hook for them, you know.
Meaning 5-0?
5.0, stuff like that. Or I actually had this, I don't know if you guys can get it. If you can find it, you'll be in good shape. They're called true turn hooks. They have it's a cam action where it's bent like this. You know, it comes straight and then it has a 45 and then it's straight again. But it actually will drill it in there. But it's a longer shank hook, so it's about like that. So it's giving you a better hook to bait ratio with the squid, and that's really what you want. You know, and you could fish a a sliding sinker with it. And I'll use a bullet so it doesn't hang up on anything.
Right.
But other than that, you could just go simple lead head. Go with a bigger hook on some of these. They'll have bigger hooks than lead heads with a varied size lead heads on it. So just keep an array of those too.
Yeah. I remember you turned me onto those bullet sinkers. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. Yeah.
Yep,
Get
absolutely.
you out of the tangle ups down there. Yeah.
I can't remember what we used on that one cast steel when we had Detter and Felix. Well, we only made it. It was over before we knew it anyway.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I just
we were
remember
done.
that day as just being real quick.
Yeah, yeah,
I think we waited around because there was no room in
right.
in Ironbound there.
Yeah.
There was no room at all.
Yeah.
Even that boat we were in.
And
Yeah.
then
I think-
we're moving all the time because we had no anchor. So
That's right. We were drifting. Yeah.
But yeah, it was quick.
But then making it was the first cast pretty much. When we were, it didn't take long.
Yeah, I think
we
we
just
went-
sat along the kelp and made our cast out.
Yeah.
And bing,
It
bing,
was bing, bing,
yeah,
bing, bing,
yeah,
done. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here comes one of the best questions of the night. This comes from the guy that threw $20 in here. So
Oh.
his questions are the best, right?
Absolutely.
Any thoughts on the Japanese style of processing the fish now, where they shove a rod down there and take out the nervous system? I know they used to do a spinal tap, and
They spike them, yeah,
It's-
yeah.
it-
There it is.
it helps, right?
They've been, listen, nobody's more picky than they are. Unfortunately, I'm not that way yet, but I mean, we deal with guys like Andy at the Sushi Institute, and if they can get a fish that's, I'm sorry, here I got Japanese background, Ikajima, I'm not even sure, something like that. The process that they do to spike it.
What was it called?
Ikajima or something like that, isn't it?
Something.
yeah,
They put it in thing, yeah.
I had a guy, his name Bruce Kuhn. He ran a place called Baja Adventures. This must have been 35 years ago, and he came out with his spinal tap. I think it was on the Conquest, and I was a big jerk about it. I should have listened to him because I didn't want to inconvenience the crew and like this guy.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, I go, no, stop, Bruce. No, he was right, man. He was right
Oh,
35
absolutely.
years ago.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he was in sushi bars all the time, so
Right.
I'm sure he learned it from.
Well, even they have kits now, and Butch Diaz, who had that cook made for us, and he's one of the captains on the El Dorado. He makes those spikes, and they're designer spikes. They're really pretty, but I mean that's what it's for,
Skull.
spiking the tuna. So the processes now and prepping it, for our fish for future use. We used to have them in gunny sacks, for goodness
Yeah.
sakes,
Yeah,
And
hanging in
now,
there,
to spike them, bleed them, and then put them down right away, you get, great sashimi
Great
quality
yeah,
fish. So,
absolutely.
it's a matter of, taking care of them like that. But yeah, if you learn to do that properly, it's even better,
Jeff says we need to have a shot of root beer for Danny's birthday. All his hard work and sharing all his fishing secrets. Yeah. Something tells me Joe might shoot something better than root beer. Are those days still going on for you, or are you?
Yeah, I've still been known to dabble in the apple orchard.
We'll have to do that, Danny. I got a Diet Coke here.
There, you see, that's
Happy
my
birthday.
limit right there. Yeah, I can't. I got that disease where you turn red. You
right.
You look like a big, fire engine out there on the boat.
Do you
at night.
actually?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I have, which is probably a blessing for me, because it always busted me. My dad said, "Come here,"
Yeah, oh my
He sees
God.
our grad night picture, and we were up at Yamashiro's on the hill. Come back down. He said, "You drove back to Dorsey?" I said, "Yeah, why?" And he shows me the picture, the graduation picture on his beet red, and I go, I was busted.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I get that disease. So it worked out anyway, because running the boat, no business doing that. You're responsible for people's lives.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and I've just never have since those. It just doesn't fit me.
Isaac says Asian glow. Is that
That's
it
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did glow. That's for
My
sure.
wife's brother. My brother's wife is from Taiwan, and if she has a glass of wine, man,
She gets
lit
it too,
up.
huh? Yeah, okay, there we go.
She doesn't drink very much.
Yeah.
But when the few times,
Yeah.
man, she just lights up. I've seen it. I saw it a lot in China
Oh wow.
when I was
Wow.
living there. Co-teachers, and it was
Yep.
pretty funny.
So funny.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
All right, well, so now, do you guys think there's any possibility of seeing a lot more yellowfin? You mentioned it, and you know, it started to move into the Coronado Island area, those 3/4 day guys that fish local, like the San Diego and the Mission Belt, they were starting to get it, and then it fizzled. But now, with this El Nino projected to affect us in the summer, it seems like it's more viable. I know, we're, like Danny says, the truth is, who knows? But it's
Yeah,
fun to
yeah.
guess.
I would love to see it. I mean, it's one of my favorite fisheries, that and fishing Dorado, you know, a lot of fun. But like Danny was hitting on that albacore, I mean, geez, who wouldn't want to see?
Oh, I'll tell you,
But-
every book,
Oh.
any boat that floats will be booked.
Yeah,
People come out of the woodwork. It's
yeah,
pure white meat tuna. I mean, and you know, you could cook it any way you want. You could have it raw, but I mean, you could sear it. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. And then you have people that smoke it, that can it, and it's a very high grade. You know, it's
and the fun of it, the fun of catching those fish.
and you're right, and everybody can catch them,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah,
It'd be
even-
nice to catch them in our local waters,
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Like we used to, right?
in
Yeah.
Joe's boat.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm on there.
You're on. You're
Yeah.
on.
I do have people who say to me all the time, why do you want albacore when we have 200-pound bluefin? You're nuts. Who wants 20 to 30-pound albacore? And I'm like, you just don't get it. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a different.
You will
deal.
get it once
Yeah,
it happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then people that can too, canning, smoking. I mean,
Oh,
there's so many different, you know, variations of preparing those things that you can use that just kills it. You know.
It's the high speed action too, you know.
Oh,
Just-
yeah,
Just
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're on a group of albacore there, it's just the adrenaline is just insane, you know.
You know,
Everybody's getting bit.
That's right. That's right. And it's a great way to start, get people involved in it.
Oh.
If they've never fished in the albacore there, take them down there.
They're hooked.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
get them hooked for sure.
And everybody has their own choice of what they want to do, but like for us, it seems like we like to catch one fish after another, after another, after another, and you know, you go out for the bluefin, you get maybe one shot at it if you're lucky, and on a kite or whatever, and your day's over, and you've caught you catch your fish, and that's great, but you know, nothing beats going out in light gear and catching a bunch of Dorado on the
Yeah.
kelp, you know, like great fun.
A lot of fun.
All right, more Asian glow stuff here. Dan Smith, married to Kim, who's Chinese, says same thing with her. Isaac, his wife is Asian also. She recommends Pepsin for that. Danny, you
There
can fool
you
your
go.
dad
Yeah.
with that. Albert says, happy birthday, Danny. Joe says, some of the commercial guys were using needles to flush out the blood of the main artery, mostly with salmon here on the Monterey Bay. Anyone doing that with bluefin tuna? I don't know.
Needles. You
Using
mean
a
to run it
needle.
down the spine?
Maybe.
Well, not to flush it out, but they do that to
Spinal tap.
Spinal
Yeah.
tap them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Uh,
goes the whole length of the fish though, right? When you
Pretty much, but yeah, but it calms them down, and
Yeah.
you know, it relaxes the meat. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that are way beyond me. Yeah.
Jeff wants to know, and he's asking Danny, but we can ask everybody, what's your best setup for yellowtail? What pound? What kind of a rod? You're throwing a
You
Taddy
know-
45, right?
You know, and I got to tell you, anytime you go fishing for anything, you got to have an array of stuff. You got to have it span. I mean, I've been out there where even the yellowtail get touched, where you got to drop down to 12 and 15 pound. You know, and that's depending on the size of the fish. And then there's times where you got to have 80 to 100 of your fish on the outside rocks, the high spots at Alejos, where there are all those hogs, and you're
The big
fishing
ones, yeah.
salamis like that. So, you know, depending on where you're fishing, you still have to have a diversity of line classes, because it makes a difference to have it
Yeah.
all. We have
Yeah,
one,
absolutely.
sometimes two per line class, depending on the application.
And you never know what you're gonna run into.
Right.
You know, we go on these trips and eat a 15, 20, 25, maybe 230s, 240s, a 50, a 60, an 80. My God, you gotta bring the whole garage.
pretty
But,
much, yeah.
but you know what? You're out there for a day or two or more, and if you don't have it,
Yeah.
you will be kicking yourself all the way home.
You don't need it till you don't have it.
That's right. That's right.
Isaac says last year with the Dorado bike, couldn't find a boat, man. Everybody was full. So he's thinking that's kind of like what you're talking about, albacore, right? It's going to
Yeah.
get just like that.
Well, the Dorado are fun too because they'll jump out of the water.
Right.
It's a little different, you know, and they're good, great eating, you know. So, yeah, it
lot of fun.
changes the pace a little bit.
Jeff wants to know if the prices are going up on sport boats this year.
You know that one I don't know.
I don't either.
know.
I don't-
You know I haven't kept up. I probably have to talk to my brother and call Frank.
I don't know the answer to that.
H&M
Pete,
Land, you
no?
know.
Joe? Joe
Yeah,
knows
I
the
don't know.
answer.
I know the price of fuel is just through the roof.
Oh, shoot. And diesel's going to become more problematic as we move into summer, right?
It's really tough, yeah. I mean, it's already bad right now. Come summertime, there's gonna be another 15 to 25% increase on the price of it as it is right now. It's hard. It's really hard. You know, for me, I mean, I love to invite my friends out fishing on my boat. And it used to be before, it was just like, hey, you know, you pay for the beer and ice, and you take care of the food, and don't worry about it, I got the fuel. You know, but I can't do that anymore.
Go
I
broke.
don't think anybody can, you know, it's just, yeah.
You know,
That
we.
Pete trip with that $1,000 bill, man.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, we started out. I remember diesel being about 17 cents.
Yeah.
You know, but that's where it's gone from there now. It's up there, and even more so, which blows me away of how it could be higher at some point than even refined gasoline.
As
you
a
know, so-
byproduct.
As a byproduct.
Yeah, it's funny. You know,
Go figure.
I'm going to Mexico in the morning.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
went to the gas station today and I'm like, well, I want to get this, like, so I just get across the
Yeah,
border and I'm
yeah,
out of gas
yeah.
pretty much so I can fill up in Mexico where it's a little cheaper, right?
Yeah,
Buck
exactly.
cheaper a gallon.
Yeah,
So-
Same thing I
Yeah.
do when I go down there. I have enough to get down there, and then I stop at the Pemex right there, just coming
That's
out of
it.
Ensenada, and fill my tank up. You know.
Hey, Joe, Pete, why don't you two have a conversation together about safety in Mexico? And a lot of people are scared to death to go to Mexico. You two are not. I'm not. I've talked to Danny. Danny can chime in on this.
Oh, yeah.
Danny used to go down there and get enough carnitas tacos for $1.50 for the biggest.
Oh yeah,
guys
we
in
used to go
town.
across the border because you know we're college kids. We didn't have any money, you know. So four of us could go down to TJ and plate of carnitas like this for $1.85. We split it 4 ways. So you know, and we couldn't finish it. So yeah, no, we've always been very comfortable with
But
that.
people might say, and I disagree, that it's more dangerous today than it was like the cartels weren't around. Yeah, they were. There were still
Yeah.
drugs coming
Yeah.
into the country.
Hey, tell me,
That's been
you-
going on for a long time.
You go downtown LA, you don't think you have a shot at being accosted or whatever. You know, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough.
I've never, you know, Pete's been my travel companion for a lot of years down to Mexico. You know, we were going down like every other week, I think, for
yeah.
a while there when I had the boat.
Oh,
down
you're doing
there.
the boat work. Yeah.
And all I can say is I've never had a problem down there. Pete, you can say the same, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Never ever have we had a problem. Now, just like everybody else, if you want trouble, you can find it. I mean, I can show you the alley that you can walk down, even in Ensenada. You know, I mean, Ensenada is a beautiful town. It's clean. The one thing you notice, especially in Ensenada, is you drive down the street and all the people there, they all take care of their surroundings. So you see the ladies out there, when we get there early in the morning, you see the ladies out there and they're sweeping up in front of their places. You know, they like to keep a little tidy little nest, you know. So, yeah, I would never be afraid to go down there. I really wouldn't. It's just stuff you hear in the news. It's the same stuff that's happening in LA, but we're not hearing about it.
You got to know where you kind of know where you're going and keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
You three guys probably could tell me about some people you've met in Mexico that have become dear friends and
Oh my
are
God.
some
Oh
of
yeah,
the best
wonderful
people
down there.
Yeah.
in the
Absolutely.
world, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving, humble.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Guys that did all the work on my boat. I mean, I call those guys my brothers. You know, they literally are. They're like brothers to me. And if they ask a favor from here, you know, if I can help them out with something they can't get in Mexico, absolutely. I'll drive down there just to go get them something. I mean, a couple of years ago when the boat was down there and COVID was real bad, Pete and I were still going down there. We mask up and everything, but one of the guys got COVID real bad, and I ended up getting this medicine through a friend that took the symptoms and just kind of helped him out. And I drove down there for just an hour, basically. I drove down, got his wife the medicine, and she was able to get him to a hospital, and they gave him the injection. And the next day he called me up and said, "Mr. Joe, thank you so much. You saved my life. I feel better, you know." But that's the things we do for those people. They're, you know, they're good people.
They're amazing people.
They really are.
Yep.
They got a big heart, big heart.
Well, Phil, you know, I mean, you take clothes down all the time. In fact, my daughters put a big bag together for a bunch of children's clothes. A lot of them still have tags on it. But,
Yeah.
you know, for you to take down there, because it's important. It's important for our neighbors down south. you know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. Joe says, don't flaunt your wealth in Mexico. Don't flaunt it in downtown LA either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I myself don't have a problem. Been going to Baja for 30 plus years and never had a problem. Every town has a bad side, including Chicago and New York.
Oh,
And
my God.
yeah, so I
I'd
know
rather
you're-
be in
you're
Mexico.
saying that too, Joe.
Yeah.
Steer clear of the nighttime. Bad things do happen at night. Joe's right?
Yeah.
But you know, again, if like you guys go to the same restaurant and it's not all the time, it's great, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Pete you and Amy used to go camping. He used to take his daughter down there.
Yeah, we went for all the time she was in San Diego State. We'd pack up my Jeep and off we'd go, drive all the way to Cabo, stay in a beach every night in a different spot, and camping in our tent, and never had any problems except for mechanical, and there were always somebody there to help. So,
Pete,
Yeah, wonderful.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Anybody who's traveled a lot in Mexico has had an occasion where some Mexican guy comes and saves the day.
that's right,
Right?
exactly, yeah.
You know, like I'm looking at a problem saying, "There's no way I can't fix anything, but there's no way I can fix this." And some guy comes along and figures out a way to solve the problem, man.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
just want to kiss him, you know?
Yeah, you're right. It's unbelievable. Remember that?
Stuff always breaks, and
Yeah, that time I scratched my rim. I hit the curb in my truck, and they were real nice chrome rims, right? And I went up to my friend's place, and we were just talking. I go, look what I did to my rim. And then all of a sudden you see his son come out with the air compressor and a grinder wheel, and they cleaned up the side of the rim, you know, and made it look beautiful, where like you couldn't even tell what happened.
Oh,
But it was
unbelievable.
mangled, and these
Yeah.
guys, they straightened it all out.
They're
I wanted
great.
to give them money. No, don't worry about it, you know.
Yeah.
Just
No, I
get
agree.
you back on the road, yeah.
Joe Surwald says, "Best people in the world down in Mexico," right?
Agreed, yeah.
Dave Clark's going back to the issue about boats and the cost, and he says that the long rangers have gone up quite a bit. So maybe they've gone up.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of it is, think about how much fuel you're burning on those trips too. I get that. I get that. You know, it's tough. And they don't understand too. I mean, having boats, the maintenance. Pete, you help out with the boys on the Indy. Joe, you've been around it too. I mean, you know, maintenance costs on any boat is expensive. You know, it's a lot of labor, but you know.
I was there today at the Indy
Yeah.
and cleaning the ovens, and they got 5 guys working all day, all week, you know, doing the rails, and the boat was in the boatyard out of the water, new zincs and paint the bottom, and you know, all that stuff runs up a big tab,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
so they got to try to make it back.
Paul Strasser was telling me that they change out like the air conditioning ducts every 3 years, no matter what. They just
yeah.
want them to be right, and he was working on that.
You know,
the
that
other
boat's
day.
it's just absolutely amazing boat.
They always said a boat, you know, it's a hole in the water that you pour money into. And guess what? After all those boats we had, it's true.
They're so right. Yeah. We still haven't learned our lesson though.
No, we haven't.
Isaac says, have any of you guys gone to the ceviche lady in Ensenada? Apparently there's some
Which?
lady who's super popular.
Oh, Sabina.
Yeah.
Sabina.
Have you tried
yeah,
it?
Absolutely. I was just there few weeks ago, my wife and I.
How was it?
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, the best.
So is it a restaurant or
No,
not?
so she actually has a restaurant that is across the street from the cart now.
Uh-huh.
And it's right down in the area there, where all the little shops are, just a block up from the main drag there in Ensenada. I can't think of the name of that street.
I know where you're
think
talking
It might
about,
be
yeah.
First Street as
Yeah,
far as I
yeah.
But
So
yes,
like Husong's area? Is that what you're talking about?
opposite.
Oh,
Opposite,
okay.
going down towards the cruise ship terminal.
San Nicolas Hotel down that way?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's called Sabina's.
Uh-huh.
And crazy thing is, you remember Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Bourdain traveled all over the world and ate different food in different places. And he wrote that of all the places he's ever eaten in his entire life, that was the best place.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And there's a picture there in front of the restaurant of Sabina with Anthony Bourdain.
Guess where I'm going tomorrow?
Oh, you gotta
I get
Oh
that.
my gosh, gotta go try it.
So I mean, it probably got a line that's 8 hours long, isn't it?
Actually, my wife and I sat down there. We ended up going to the restaurant instead of the cart. The cart, you just get your tostada and your ceviche. And,
Yeah.
And you just go stand right there.
Yeah.
But the restaurant has the same exact thing. They make a great margarita, and it's nice, quiet. It's in a little patio there. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dave Clark says, I go to Mexico every week. Just be aware of your surroundings and don't be foolish. Yeah, right?
100%.
Exactly.
And
100%.
you can, I don't know about you guys. Yeah, I do. You guys know. Even if you're just wandering around, like I was in the Philippines, and I just looked around and I go, oh, okay, this is not China anymore, because China's really safe. You know, I mean, they're just afraid they're gonna get. If you screw up in China, you're going away for a long time. So everybody, I got to the point in China where if I heard footsteps behind me at midnight, I didn't turn around. I didn't do the fake cell phone thing where I'm looking at a message so I can see who's walking up on me. Or I got to the Philippines, some parts of the Philippines, and I go, okay, I gotta grow eyes in the back of my head. My wallet's coming up in my front pocket. I'm not gonna carry a lot of cash. And so, yeah, you can feel it, right?
Mhm.
You can feel when you're in the wrong area.
Mhm.
Plus, you can see, you can see what's going
Yeah.
on.
Pete always has a saying, as soon as we get across the border, he goes, I feel free now. Yeah. He says it every time.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's what my kids and I say.
I feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's just, it's, I don't know, it's that feeling that no matter where I've always gone in my job, I was always accountable. And but when I went across the border, they couldn't find me. So that's where that's from.
Pete, do you have that feeling?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I do too.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of people who are like, you're gonna get your head cut off down there. Yet we hit the border and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
fantastic.
It was, I guess, was it a month or so ago when they,
They torched up a bunch of cars and all that.
no, there was that public defender that they found.
Oh, right, from Newport.
Las Rocas.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And my wife and I went down shortly after that.
To
And-
that hotel?
No. We went down to Ensenada.
Yeah.
We stayed. Actually, we stayed at the Corral, Hotel Corral.
Yeah, beautiful place.
Yeah, gorgeous place. And you could tell there was it was a different feeling because there was more heightened security. You saw a lot more of the National Guard driving around in the pickup trucks.
Mhm.
But did that make me feel uncomfortable? No, it made me feel actually more comfortable because they're there for a reason. So, you know, that was a strange situation, and I don't think anybody knows what
Right.
really happened there, and it's just unfortunate. It really is.
Definitely.
It's really sad, and I'm sure the Mexican government doesn't like it either. You know, 'cause it took away a lot of tourism from
Yeah,
them and stuff.
yeah.
But no, I do not feel unsafe down there whatsoever.
Best Mexico fishing. Do you fit? Yeah, Danny. You can start by talking about the Bay of LA while
Bay of
Pete and
LA.
Joe think about their best
Yeah,
Mexico
Bay of
story.
LA was just rocked, and I was late to getting there a couple years ago, but you know my dad went down there about 60-something years ago, and I remember him coming back with buckets of fresh shrimp and all the Cabrian little, all that stuff. Just killed him, and it killed me having to stay home. But I was probably 8 years old or something like that. But I went down there 2 years ago with Steve, you told me, and he has it so dialed in. It was just like clockwork. Even the driving tips that he gives you, just like Pete when went to Vietnam, Cambodia, he will brief you on all the etiquette and everything that you have to go through, prep you for everything. Well, he's done that for all his trips for me in Brazil and Guyana, right? I mean, of course, he didn't prep me for stepping on that spider barefooted, but that was still like, yeah, wow. Anyway, but no, going down to Mexico, we went down, and the first thing, the guide comes over that a brand new freezer that you plug into your hotel. We brought down 3 vacuum pack machines. He fillets everything on the boat. You bring all the fillets back to the room. We had 3 of us, the 3 that fished together. We all had vacuum pack machines, and we just put out a tarp on one of the beds, and we vacuum packed and labeled all this cabrilla and everything else, threw it on the bed, then we put it in the freezer. Next day, could be huachinongos, limits of huachinongos. All these fillets, label it, vacuum pack it, throw it. It was so well organized. And then the best thing is going to the taco stands. It was still like $1, and we would give our own yellowtail for that. And you'd have that shrimp that does not taste like the shrimp we get in our stores here, folks. It's the real deal. It's got the flavor. It's phenomenal. So, and it's $1 or a little bit more than $1, maybe $1.50, whatever, 15. But it's unbelievable. And I could eat at those stands all day, for days. But we had a couple nice dinners where we had a panoramic view of the whole bay. Absolutely gorgeous. You'll never fish the same spots twice. They will adjust it where you get your limits of, cabrilla, huachinongo, yellowtails, diamond. I could have nailed yellowtail from the launch ramp, folks, and I kid you not. I could have thrown an iron, and you'd end up with these 6 to maybe 12-pound fish, but we didn't bother, and you make the long runs for those. And fish paqueta one day. But, the diversity, and can you imagine if you took all our islands out here from the Channel Islands down, put them together, it's not even close to the chain of islands that they brought down there. So the amount of fishing area you have, and the view is beautiful. Yeah. And we lucked out. We were able to fish all straight 4 days. Sometimes, they will say that a lot of times there's one day you're going to get blown out or whatever. We were blessed that we had beautiful weather the whole time, So, it's a beautiful place, The accommodations are great. I was telling my wife about it. I says they got flush toilets. The only problem is they have waste baskets in the bathrooms, and that was Gail said, done deal. That is not happening.
I could just see Gail.
Oh yeah. That's she's used to her total bidets, right? So no, that's not happening. But for me it was cool. Hey, the fishing outweighed it, the food outweighed it. So you got to go for it.
Did
Pete,
you ever?
one of your favorite stories? Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
I think that, like for me, I remember Marcel Dion, his neighbor was Bill Pearson, the guy that worked down the docks. In fact, Joe knew Bill. He's gone now, but Marcel introduced me to Bill, and we went to the old mill like 20 times. San Quintin, and always catch fish. And they're still running, still going, I think. And then we'd go to Colonette, and then we expanded it to Bay of LA, and then we expanded to Gonzaga Bay, and then we would fly into Loretto, and where they ran the boat up on the beach, and that was my first experience in that deal. And but I think the old mill is a comfort spot to go to, and we always caught fish, and it was fun.
Joe?
Yeah. I was actually thinking about it. One of my best memories, I think, was Tony Reyes trips out of, what is it?
San Felipe.
San Felipe.
Yeah.
Good group of friends, that I was with. I think Brian Porter. You remember Brian Porter? Big Brian? Bubba?
Oh, yeah.
Bubba
Sure.
was with us, and a few other guys. And we just had a phenomenal trip. Insane yellowtail fishing. We limited out on yellowtail, and then we went in and fished cabrilla for like 3 days in a row.
Oh,
and it was
heaven,
man.
It was heaven.
It was heaven. I mean, I remember I was getting so frustrated because I kept missing on these cabria, you know, and Brian just turned around and looked at me and he says, "I think we got to send you to cabria rehab."
Well, you know, right, San Felipe is just the north end of Bay of Los Angeles. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, but that chain of islands, I mean, you got islands, 50-mile strings, you know, of islands, endless amount of area to fish,
Beautiful.
which is unbelievable.
Beautiful, too,
You know,
yeah.
to me, it's heaven. You know.
Hey guys, we got a lot of questions. Did you have something you wanted to say to Danny, Joe?
No.
Okay. So before we go though, we can't show them to you, but the guy who's bought Worm King fish showed us some of his new baits. He's going to have them at the Fred Hall show. Comment, Danny.
Unbelievable. You know, it's not only a bait that's gonna catch fish. It'll probably catch more fishermen than fish. They're just beautiful. I would just like hang them up there. They're so pretty, you know. But I guarantee they'll catch fish. He has one that will definitely catch fishermen. That's got the realistic tail.
Yeah.
The one that has the tail that do the thumping probably, I don't know for a fact, probably will catch more fish. But you know what? I would buy both.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. But
Yeah,
the colors, phenomenal. It's just
Colors are insane.
hand does it. It's beautiful.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, this is Worm King, the new Worm
Yeah.
King they bought. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that yellowfin when that fish bites, and then
Oh.
on the troll, and then drop one of these.
Drop
back.
one on the
Oh, my
slide.
God.
It's over. Yeah.
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 I'm yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you
Absolutely.
saw him, did you, Pete?
I saw them.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did? Okay. Comment?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, they look beautiful, right?
yeah.
And fish is
Not
right
really.
there, so we're hoping he's going to give us some.
Yeah, you hear that fish?
Yeah, there you
Good.
The colors are phenomenal, and they're all hand painted, which is just amazing. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's beautiful.
what
Calico
this guy has
bass.
done, jeez.
Yeah.
Do you want to walk out here and show your face or not? All right, he wants
Oh
to.
man, what are you being
The
shy
Worm
for,
King
man?
booth
Come on.
at the Bart Hall show. Make sure you go by.
Well, you know, fish, if they don't know what you look like, they might walk right by you. Come on out here, man.
He's a little
We
shy.
don't-
Oh, you're shy.
He's shy.
You want to throw?
You
a
get the
couple
hook.
over
We'll
there?
get, we'll gaff them and drag them in here.
Yeah, really. We'll show him
Chuck
up
a
for you. He
couple
won't do
over
it. He,
Come on.
he's not
Fish,
gonna do
bring
it
a
on the
couple. We'll
show, he
preview
said,
it, man.
To the show.
You gotta,
No,
hey,
you
listen.
won't do it.
Here's what you gotta do. You gotta chum them up. Bring it on.
I'll put it in my hand.
Bring
just
it on.
So half.
You want me to just go like right by the camera real fast? Uh-oh.
I'll just
Hey,
show
There you
half.
go. All right.
Talked him
We got him.
into
We
it.
shamed
might
them
have
into
an
it.
exclusive
Just show
there.
two of them.
Here's
Might
just
be
pull it.
exclusive.
Pull it.
All
Yeah.
right, here we go. There's one. Give me another one.
Hold on,
Just
let me-
two.
Yeah,
Just
Joe,
two.
here.
I'm gonna throw this
Go
one
ahead,
to
Joe.
Danny,
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay.
Go. Yeah. Go ahead.
and then and then I'll throw. Oh, Joe, what a throw that was, huh?
I mean,
Everybody
this
see
this
that?
tail, this will definitely catch fishermen.
Everything.
Will probably catch fish, but I'm telling you, a realistic tail. I think that tail may fish better. I can't say. That's why you got to buy both, folks.
I'm telling
I
you.
mean, this will-
I
It's
don't think-
amazing. It looks so real.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I've never seen the detail. It's beautiful.
I'll move
Absolutely
it up
beautiful.
closer too. Here,
Yeah,
I'll take
here.
this one
Here,
first.
Yeah.
And
Is that unbelievable, folks? And he's
That
got
is
some colors, but the
amazing.
colors are just, yeah.
Look how beautiful.
Look at that.
this is
Does
breaking.
that look like a
Thank
Dean or a
you.
Chope? I mean, it's, yeah.
Like a
This is breaking
Like a
news.
smell.
Do you want me to
Absolutely.
give this back to him, or you want it? You're taking it, aren't you?
Well, I'm going
I'm taking mine. Huh?
We'll give them back, man. Don't worry. All right, yeah, they're
Great,
beautiful.
great
That
rod.
Unbelievable.
thing looks like a real
Great.
cake.
Can you guys, folks, believe it? So here it is. We're previewing it for you, but unbelievable. You know, I guarantee that's going to catch fish.
All right, he wants them back.
All right, fish.
Ah, jeez.
Here we go. There's one. All right, we're
Back in the bait tank.
Oh, he's dropping
Back to the
everything.
bait tank. All right.
Jackson Pulveda says, thank you for the I use the word copious a lot, so he's rubbing it in a little bit in a fun way. Thank you for the copious amounts of information tonight. When you are rigging your jig for tuna, is it better to crimp your leader to a swivel split ring or use a chain not to swivel split ring? Who's got an opinion?
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead, let's go around.
Let's reread that.
All right, yes. Forget the copious amount. When you're rigging,
Now, you talking about iron?
I
Or are
don't
you
know.
talking about trolling feathers? Or
Knife jigs. What are we
Oh,
talking
okay.
Probably
could
that,
be,
I'm
could be knife
guessing,
jigs.
right? Knife jigs.
Knife jig.
Are you going with a crimp your leader to the swivel or a split ring, or use a chain not to swivel split ring?
I crimp my leaders, and I do them myself, to a swivel,
All right.
and then do my main line. Yeah.
Current Jam says, I'm new to hollow core game. using hollow core. Would you guys recommend that versus solid?
I have hollow core. It's great. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. You know, the spools I brought back from Japan, 1,100 yards was, about
geez.
$1,800. You know, so I mean, I very gingerly will only put them on my big ATDs and stuff like that.
Right.
But they're hollow. They're so smooth.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And it took. I was watching 16 spools of line going and weaving like this, and and the reason why they're so expensive is it only does 1 meter in an hour, so they run round the clock, and so that's why the price on those things is so high. But I have some 80, 100, and 130 that they gave me, and it's just like gold,
I'll be by in the morning.
Right on. Albert Pont says, are you sure about the ceviche lady? He lives down there in Ensenada. He said it's called La Hueraense and was featured on Anthony Bourdain's show. Let me tell, her stuff is legendary. So maybe it's the same thing, or?
It's Sabina. I mean, his picture's right there. In front
Oh,
of
it is? Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
hit both these places or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. And Albert says, however, I know of another spot a block away called Mariscos El Güero, whose aguachiles are bomb, and Joe and Pete must know
Yeah.
this place.
That's the little cart, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah. The cart's amazing, yeah, it is. We stop by there, Pete always gets a clam cocktail, and then I'll have the octopus.
I love those
That's an
spots.
Ensenada. This is Ensenada.
Yeah.
It's got. Steve took me to one of them, but it's got to be.
Güero, yeah.
You told me we're coming back to Bay of LA. We came back the other way. We came down towards San Felipe and then looped back up toward Ensenada to come home. But we stopped in
so
Ensenada
good.
to those carts, and you can't beat them. You cannot beat
The
them.
cup's about what, that
Yeah,
tall? Pete?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
About that tall, that
phenomenal.
big around,
Yeah.
and $6.
God.
There's
Just-
so much, I
It's
love
unreal.
the octopus, so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is packed full of octopus.
I
It's
love
just
it,
the
too.
best taste,
Yeah.
and they give you all the tostada shells you want.
God, I'm going to leave tonight.
I might go with you.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I don't have to be. there
Tomorrow
every
morning, 6
There
a.m.
you go.
Joe, let's go. I'm going to go check out a place in, what's the lobster place? Now I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, and,
Puerto
Puerto
Nuevo.
Nuevo, yeah.
I'm all
Yeah.
screwed up tonight.
Yeah.
All right, hockey question about a hockey player that I truly love. And it comes from Isaac, the guy that threw the $20 bill. So it's a very important question, Pete. Any Bob Probert stories? I grew up in Michigan. He was a Wings fan. I mean, that guy was a tough.
Yeah,
hockey
he could
player.
throw them. Yeah.
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 He was
Yeah.
tough.
Heavyweight battle would be Marty McSorley versus Bob Probert. But there's a lot of fight videos on Bob Probert, but yeah, he had a reputation. He
Tough.
put on a different hat when he went on the ice.
Yeah, he just looked at you I mean,
Yeah.
if you looked at him
Yeah.
cross-eyed, he was ready to drop the
Yeah.
gloves, right?
Yeah, that's right.
He's a big, tough guy.
Yeah, yeah.
As I remember, and I could be wrong, Pete, he had some problems with alcohol or something.
I don't know. He
died
passed away.
very
Yeah, he
young,
passed
didn't he?
away. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I always loved watching those kind of players, I just did.
Yeah.
They were so tough.
Yeah, that's right.
And, they'd come to the guys like Gretzky, they had somebody watching
Protecting
their
them,
back,
yeah.
like Probert or one of those
Enforcer.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Daniel Lightfoot. Daniel, how old are you? I don't even know, but he's down here all the time. His grandpa brings him down.
Oh.
And they'll say, hey, I want to meet, can you? And so I'll drive from Surfside because I love the kid. And then he'll catch perch down here. And
Oh, great.
so
Oh,
the other
that's
day
awesome.
we were walking up the docks and he goes, hey, Phil, look at the seal. And I go, you have homework now. You are going to go and learn what the difference between a seal and a sea lion is. Man, I get a video the next day and he goes into a whole dissertation about what the difference between a seal and a sea lion.
That's awesome.
That's what
You know
fishing
what?
does.
That's
man.
awesome.
Right?
Absolutely.
You're over at San
Absolutely.
Pedro High, right?
Yep.
You see this all the time.
See the kid, and there's a lot of kids that are kind of lost a little bit, but mention the fishing and mention the opportunities here in San Pedro for
Yeah.
whether you're running a tugboat like my son-in-laws are doing, or going into the fishing side.
Right.
We have an edge. Most of this stuff was innovated and started here. for years. Live bait fishing was all came from, the purse seiners, which were able to then purse seine chovies for the bait boats. But it also is the reason why we have the only live bait fishery in the world of this magnitude up and down our coast. And it has to do with those guys. You got it. But I mean, unbelievable.
It's
But-
so much more technology advanced here than the East Coast, where your primary fish is bass, striped bass and bluefish in in New England, New York, New England area. 40-pound line and a Penn Surfmaster would do the job. And here, like I say, you go out overnight boat, you need 10 rods.
Yeah, it is. It's a technology
Yeah.
thing, Pete. Because I've been, I'll wake up early on Saturday morning and I'll watch a Bassmaster tournament or something, right? And I'm watching, they have the forward-facing sonars now. Okay, well, think about that. We had, George and I right here, snuck down to San Diego with those Westmars in 1981. So they're just now catching up to us. I mean, we've had, a 40-something year edge on the mentality. I mean, to visualize what we're seeing in 3 dimensions, where before everybody was looking at it too. So that gives you a different perspective of what's going on out there, and how bites develop and everything else. And I can't even imagine having that on a bass boat now. But like I said, I mean, we were implementing that 40 years ago. So, and yet it's new to the bass world. So, yeah, you're right. We're way ahead. We've always been,
You
and
guys
we'll
were one
continue
of
to
the
be.
first boats to bring that down there, weren't
Oh
you?
yeah, we're sport boats.
Yeah,
the
the sport boats.
Yeah, because the big seiners could afford those things.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, George and we had the first color Westmars that were out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stinger, Ray Montero, they had a black and white unit on the Holiday, but the problem is you had to keep watching it because the signal didn't pop up in color.
Yeah.
So there was it was great. And one of the first guys historically to do stuff was why am I drawing a blank? New Luan.
The guy ran into land?
The old, yeah.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank,
Why
too.
am I drawing this thinking blank? I'm just, no, it goes back. But when he had the, now I'm trying to think of his commercial boat he had.
Did he have a brother too? And they ended up on the American Angler and those guys?
Wait. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
It'll come to me. But they actually had 3 transducers pointed out on his, on the bait boat, and they had 3
Samsung?
transducers. No, Danny and we fished together, but
Yeah.
that was later when he had the angler and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, they had 3 transducers on a up and downer, but you had to have one guy monitoring that the whole time, because you have 3 beams going out like this, right? But that was way ahead of its time too. But when we got the scanners, why am I drawing a blank? This is drive me nuts. But anyway, it'll come to
You'll
me.
remember when the
It'll
show's
come to me
over.
when it's over. Yeah, we'll call you. Tune in next week, folks. But anyway, no, I mean the technology, and it changed a lot of things. It changed the technology. It also helped bring the fleets together, because it was definitely a northern boat versus southern boat deal.
Oh, yeah.
But when George and I went down there and smoked them,
Yeah.
all of a sudden they want to work with us. And then we were blessed to have some we had the best fishermen around too.
Yeah.
But we really had the great fishermen, so that helped. That made us look good. Yeah. And crews, the crews had a lot to do
You
with it.
guys definitely did. I remember those. Yeah.
All right, Michael, good to have you with us tonight. Some guys are giving him a little, hey, Michael, you got your homework done. That's good to hear. Might know this guy's mom, Danny, Fernando Alcantara. How's it going, Danny? My mom told me about you. I guess she works with you.
Gail the Ward in Cadona.
Oh my God. Is that my phone?
So turn your phone off on these shows. What's wrong with you?
And did you hear that? Did you hear
Your
what
wife's calling you.
it says? Gail, the warden, Cadota. Gail, we are live. I will call you back, dear.
Oh, you just...
Bye.
Oh.
Turn
She
it
was just about
off.
to chew you
Yeah,
out.
probably. Probably. You gotta turn it on the little red
Got it on
thing.
FaceTime.
Oh, let's see. Here, dear.
That's good. All right, do you know somebody by the last name of Alcantara?
My God, I'm gonna need help again. I'm going through
You could have
Fernando, what's your mom's name? What's her first name?
Fernando, come on.
He'll pop in.
And tell me where.
And Isaac said, yeah, poor guy passed away at 45.
I guess
He's
she
from
must be at
October.
she must be at San Pedro High School.
Yes, that's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
Her name is Virna.
Okay.
Virna.
Okay, doke. Gotcha.
All right, Fernando. Yes, he knows, right? Current jam, 10-pound braid for 50-pound stripers, but I love it. Right? So, did you mention that, Pete, that they fish 10-pound braid for the stripers?
No.
Oh, I don't. All right, yeah. Well, he's talking about somebody who's fishing 10-pound braid on for 50-pound stripers. He's all about it.
That's
Isaac wants to know if we're going to do any trips, Mexico trips, to take the gringos down and show them places like LA Bay. You know what, Isaac? Albert Ponce, who just came on a second ago, wants to get a caravan later this year, and I'm all in, man. And getting you guys to go would be a dream. All three of you, man.
A trailer boat caravan, maybe?
Yeah, we could do
that'd
whatever
be
you
a
want to
blast,
bring,
wouldn't
man.
I've promised him for years now that we would take my 18 whaler
Let's do it.
and go down and
And
fish.
take some of these people who are a little afraid. Now, I get
Yeah,
it. They don't
yeah.
speak the language,
Yeah.
and take them, and we'll
That's a
just
great
have
way
a
to
big
go.
party in Mexico.
That's
Maybe
a great way
what?
to go.
I
Say
would love to do that.
October,
October would be good. Yeah.
right? September, October.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do that. We'll put our
Yeah.
thinking caps on.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
that sounds great. Yeah, she works at San Pedro High School. Albert
Gotcha.
says, "Hey Phil, star taking number. Hey Albert, I already got some guys who are in, and I forgot to answer a couple of them, so I apologize to you guys, but yes, I'll do that. We got all these guys' numbers already. Albert's down. We can get security, the whole thing. Yeah, we definitely can do that. So yeah, we could even
There's
get.
nothing like it.
Didn't you have
Yeah.
a friend that could take care or help with the paperwork for as far as bringing your boat down there, trailer?
Yes, Alejandra. Yeah.
Alejandra,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we got her, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. I was in Mexico, and we did a whole freaking thing. We brought all these ex-Laker players to the Rosarito Beach Hotel. We had 300 orphans come, and they got tutored by these guys from the Lakers, which was so cool.
Yeah.
And so I had rented this 12-passenger van, and I was driving back to the border, and I get to make a left at the Smart and Final to go, and this cop is not having any of it, and he's telling me, you got to, and I go, officer, he was cool, but right now. So I pull over in the Smart and Final thing, and I call Arturo Martinez, who was working for the government. He organized that whole thing. He goes, take the phone to the police officer. I go, he's in the middle of the street. Take him the phone. And I go, oficial. And I wave my hand. He's ignoring me. I go, I walk out and I go, hey, you got a phone call. And he goes, sí, señor. Sí, señor. And he looks at me and he goes, you get a motorcycle. We're going to take you right to the front of the border. And I go, oh, cool, man. This was worth it. Yeah. So pays to know people, right?
It does, yeah, it does, definitely.
That was a lot of fun. You guys have been gabbing for an hour and a half. Do you realize
No way.
that?
Oh,
Really?
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, it does
but-
fly, doesn't it?
I'm telling you, man.
Jeez.
Anything else on your minds? How about a couple of Independence memories? Some great bites. Pete, you're on there a lot. You love the boat. Joe, you've been on it. Danny, have you?
No,
You
no.
and me either, man. So
Yeah.
we got these two guys.
You should join us.
I would love to, man. I will do that.
I cannot say I've ever had a bad trip on that boat. As far as luxury, as far as the ride, my hat goes off to Paul, Mark. They built a platform that is second to none. That boat, she handles rough weather. That's the only boat out of San Diego that I would like to be in if you're into bad
Yeah, the
weather.
weather, yeah.
She just takes it. She takes it like it's nothing. I mean, going across, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, going over to Guadalupe, and we left Ensenada about noontime, and we knew it was going to blow, and it was just downright ugly. I mean, nobody slept even in their bunks. I slept underneath one of the dining room tables.
Oh,
I just
jeez.
grabbed a pillow and a blanket, and I brought it, and I tucked myself
Yeah.
in, up into a corner, and I stayed there, you know, and then morning came around, we got to the island, but that was horrible. And I remember I think the Supreme was coming in right after us, and they had called up Matt and said, man, we got a lot of damage on the boat.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, they just got rocked real bad. So, yeah, the Independence, great boat. If you get an opportunity, I would highly recommend it. She's a great boat to fish. Crew is second to none. They really are. And I think I speak for really all the crew down there, all the guys, every boat. They're guys down there they work their tails off
Oh, yeah.
for all of us. They really do. And
Yep.
my hat goes off to all of them down there. They're just all good. They're professionals.
Pete, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I agree with Joe. Ditto. Yeah, that's an amazing boat and variety of fish on every trip, which is nice. You know, even with Cedros closing up, we always seem to be able to manage some yellowtail, and one of my favorites. And if you can get down to the rocks, is good. And if you can't, then there's all these spots they have to try, and they'll try a spot for an hour. Doesn't work, they're moving, and they're not soaking their baits in a long time in one spot. So,
Yeah.
but all the boats do that. I guess they move around, and so yeah, it's a great boat.
All right, Fernando's back. You work with his mom.
Yes.
He says he mostly fishes off the rocks in San Pedro, Terminal Island, and Long Beach area. Do you guys know any good spots? Any good jigs to use? Those Worm Kings would work on there.
Oh my
wouldn't they?
God, yeah.
Yeah, that would
They'd work
for
anywhere.
sure.
The first thing I thought of.
Yeah, right. I mean, spotted bay bass magnet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, here, tell Fernando, here's the deal too, bud. If we start a fishing club at San Pedro High, which I intend to get going here, just join us.
Yeah.
And we'll get you dialed in
Be
and
covering all that, right?
Absolutely, we'll cover everything, and then I'll teach you all the ins and outs of boats. And I'm going to be. You guys, Pete and Joe, know that I'm going to be stricter with you guys because I'm going to be looking after your futures. If you want to come into this industry, if you do it a certain way, you come up a certain way, you'll fish, you'll work in a better boat,
Yep.
better operation, and that you'll be taught. You'll keep learning from the right people, and you want to stay in that area, because then you'll be on the upper echelon of that. So
You're-
hang
you're-
in there.
You're
We're gonna be doing
you're-
this.
You're going to be a phenomenal teacher. I'm
Absolutely.
sure. I mean, I'll help you. You just call me.
Yeah,
and
no,
I'll
I mean,
help
we
you.
got
I'd love to, but
we got all kinds of TAs
be
here.
great,
That may
man.
be
Yeah.
fun.
growing
Fun,
up,
absolutely.
I mean, I started off down at Norm's Landing as a pinhead, and then working on the Matt Walsh back in the day. And
I just put up a video from probably 1995. Just put up a short, like a 20-second with Todd Phillips running the boat.
Oh yeah,
on Twilight
yeah,
Trip,
yeah. But yeah, I remember that, and then started out over here on the Sea Sport with Don Jazzowitz.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Remember him?
yeah.
Kind of.
Don
Not
Jazzowitz.
really.
Yeah, he would make me be down here at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd fire off the main, check the oil, coolant first, and then fire up the main, had it ready for him, and I remember he would have his watch on him, and we would leave the breakwater, and he would look at his watch, and I don't know what time it was, but he would stop the boat, he'd spin around.
Time and distance.
Time and distance, yeah, that's where I learned, time and distance, right there. And he was always dead on, and it was great, phenomenal rock cod fishing,
Yeah.
just up above marine land there,
Yeah.
it was
Unreal.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went from Don Jazzowitz, and I'd have to sneak a beer in my boots, and I'd bring it upstairs to the wheelhouse for him.
Oh, jeez. Well, we had some icons. We had the
Yeah.
Frankie Halls. We had some real characters.
Yeah.
We were blessed to have the man that created Spectra, Russ Iser. He was
Russ,
one of
yeah.
my sea daddies. But I mean, we had some great icons down here.
Herb
So,
Curley,
Herb Curley's
John
another one.
Dipley.
Oh my God. I
Oh.
worked for
Well,
him.
that just
Definitely was
Caught my
Yeah.
first yellowtail with
Yeah.
John Dipley.
Funny.
Yeah,
Dipley.
hilarious guy, man.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
great guy, absolutely.
If you look at Danny Cadona and John Dipley, I would say they're kind of on opposite spectrums
Oh,
in terms of. I don't want to say anything about a lack of class.
Well,
I mean, I don't.
well,
wanna
I
say
gotta-
it,
I gotta
but
tell you
Dipley
something.
was funny, but Cadona's got a lot of class.
84 when those big Elbies came in the channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was out with Frank Redlew, and he built this. Frank was he still is such a talented guy. This is Mike Redlew's dad.
Yeah.
But I used to fish with Frank every weekend. Well, he built his skiff out of a sleek craft almost like a race boat, but it was beautiful.
I just saw the boat the other
Oh,
day.
unbelievable.
Just saw it,
right?
yeah.
So this thing goes like 50, 50 something, right? And so albacore in the channel. I just bring the Mustang back up here, but those big fish are in the channel in the fall here. So we get up there, and Frank has me run the boat. Well, it's Freddie Chicago, my friend, he has his good friend Merle, and there's Frank. And so I see a spot of fish, and I just normally with the Mustang, you just push the throttles all the way up, and I'm 10 knots. I push the throttles all the way up. I look back, and no Frank here. All three of them are hanging over the stern. I go, oh, jeez, pull it back. We get on this spot of fish and we slide on it, and it's all those big fat albies. Unbelievable. So we're all bent, all four of us are bent in Frank's boat, and all of a sudden I kind of look, I hear this water moving and stuff, and I turn around, Queen of the Sea, and the minute I turn around, Dipley sees me,
geez.
and all I see is backwashes, he's reversing, and I'm just giving him the eye, and I go, really? You're a local boat, you fish like a local boat. Come on, get out of here, But yeah, no, he was a piece of work.
Yeah.
Oh, he was,
Yep.
man.
Yeah,
something else.
Dipley was a character. Or is. Yeah, I guess he's up north somewhere,
No, he's
right?
dead.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he passed
Oh,
away.
okay. I thought maybe somebody
Yeah.
was saying Oregon or something.
Yeah, he was up there in
Yeah.
Grants Pass,
Okay.
Oregon. He passed away
Okay.
up there.
Herb Curley as well, right?
I think so.
There's another
Yeah,
character.
I
Herb.
think so, yeah.
Mike Faley.
And we see those guys because after running sport boats, they all ended up at Yankovich fuel docks.
Yeah.
So we'd pull into the fuel dock, and Herb, all we talk about is freshwater bass. See,
Yeah.
I got to thank them too. They were a wealth of knowledge. Some of the real early guys in the freshwater bass scene, the bait
Herb
fish and
was a
stuff like that.
phenomenal
Yeah.
bass fisher.
Yeah, tremendous.
Jeez, with those old
Yeah.
Calcutta rods.
Oh, unbelievable. Yep.
Jeez.
Yep.
Fernando wants to know what the name of that jig was. It was Worm King, Fernando. They're making a comeback. If you go to the Bart Hall show in Long Beach, you need to find their booth, and he'll have a whole bunch of them there on sale. He plans on getting out on an overnighter, maybe a two-nighter. He really wants to catch his first tuna. This kid is tailor-made for your fishing
All right.
club,
Well,
Danny.
we'll have to talk to your mom, but yeah, we'll try to put something together. Like
Yeah.
in June or July. And plan on that because I want to be there, and I'll be there in the teaching capacity too, which is really tough because anybody that knows me, if I have a rod anywhere near a rod, it's. But we're here. I'm going to be here to teach you guys.
I'll videotape the whole
There you
thing.
go. Perfect.
We got Joe
That'd
and
be
Pete.
absolutely. Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. You got experts here.
I'd love
Trust me. That would be.
Pete, you gotta be tired, man. You've been scrubbing ovens on the Independence all day. You pooped?
No, I'm okay.
You good? Okay.
He's tough.
Yeah, he
he's
is.
tough.
He's got stamina.
Yeah.
I know, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anything else you guys want? I mean, we're pushing 2 hours here, boys, and
Jeez.
it's
I don't
up
know.
to you guys.
Anything coming up to you guys?
We
No.
got another question. So, gee, you delayed too long.
No,
Ready to
go.
jump
Oh,
out.
okay. Well,
Hey, Phil, Danny, Joe, Pete. There is a late May tuna tournament in Ensenada with a first place $20,000 jackpot, 10K for second, and 5K for third. I have 2 open spots on my Mako to try and go and win. Let me know if there's any takers. So anybody wants to go, send Albert a message up there right now, or send me a message, and maybe you can get down there.
I
and
just
fish in it
heard
and-
about that tournament last week myself, and
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot of fun. I might reach out to my buddy over there at Mata's and see if they're doing something. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
20 grand, that'd be a nice
20
little
grand,
payday.
yeah.
late May in Ensenada, so that's going to be down Collinet. Could be any of those
Yeah,
areas
yeah.
there. Yeah.
That fish,
Good-
I think
good
that
stuff.
fish is moving. I mean, it is moving. Out,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
Well, the roll Polaris saw it on the upper 500, so that's like almost a straight line from Ensenada, and a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
down,
A
but
little
not
bit
too-
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Down
but
and out.
there's several areas down there that,
Yeah. That 10-10
Like I
trench
said, yeah.
is there. and-
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that who knows? Could be get going. Maras are all booked up, if that's what you're talking about.
Are they really?
That's what Albert says.
Oh wow.
All
Wow.
booked, man. You gotta take your boat down there, Joe, and fish on that.
That-
Don't you have a boat down there?
yeah, well, I've got an 18-foot Boston Whaler Outrage.
Yeah.
That's perfect for fishing down there. You know.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I bet we can tuck Pete into this.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Hey, Albert, what's it cost to enter the thing? It's got to be pretty. I don't know if it's hefty or not. I was with Victor from Bluefin today, and it looks it's going to be mayhem. It's going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot of boats.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
bumper
gonna be
boats.
crazy.
Victor, another great guy. I met him back in December.
Yeah.
What a wonderful guy.
Greg Silks with just a random comment that comes out of nowhere. These warm rains are melting the snow. Any comment?
We're gonna have a lot of water.
A lot of
Lot of
Yeah,
water,
right.
lot of
right now.
water,
Too bad we're
Greg,
not
and there's stuff.
capturing it.
You know, yeah,
But the state of California's government is run so well.
sure,
Uh,
sure, yeah, leave it to them.
We probably
it to them.
shouldn't get into that.
But yeah.
Should we have another couple hours?
Yeah. Well, Greg, I mean, he's, you know, he was the striper king too for, he, you know, he turned over to, you know, doing a lot of bass fishing, but boy, at one time, you know, his specialty was stripers, so.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys are not going anywhere because the questions are flowing in. So
Holy
here we go, a little bit more. If you need me to get you a water or something,
There
just
it
let me
is,
know.
here we go.
All right, Chuck Zimmer. Hey, Chuck, you're supposed to be going to Mexico with me with that drone tomorrow morning. What happened? He wants to know what's your go-to rod fishing 50 and 60 pound. What about your stuff?
Well, I do, I have them,
Yeah.
it's, they're, you know, I have mine rated specifically by line class, and you can go up and down maybe 10 pounds, but when I tell you it's a 50-pound rod, it's a 50-pound rod, you know. But here's the deal, and we explained this before, with that handle system, if you extend the handle up 3 inches, that 50-pound could be a 60-pound. If you take it back a few inches, it's now a 40-pound. So that's how much that handle will shut off or make it more parabolic, you know. It structures the rod. So that's the first time that's ever been done.
Yeah.
And so you can truly customize it to exactly how you want it, you know. So I would get the bigger length, the foregrip, start it out there, flex it, put it in with maybe masking tape, hold in there just to see where the bend is until you get it exactly where you want. I'm very particular, and I make my rod shut off a certain way for each line class, 40, 50, 60. Sometimes a little different for 40, 50, and 60, like 50 for bait and 50 for yo-yoing might be a little different, you know, because of the application. You're fishing a heavier jig rather than a light bait. So,
Right.
you know, it's going to be really on you once we have the tubes, and the tubes are being manufactured now, to play with it and design it the way you want. But it's a way to truly customize it by your foregrip. There's no other system. I mean, every other handle that you put on it, it will flex when it bends. Hypalon, all that stuff flexes.
Yeah.
Doesn't structure the rod. But that graphite tube, you know, it will shut it off at a certain point. And you guys filmed it on the Freedom trip. You could see the little 30-pound rod handling these big fish. It wasn't intended for that, but, you know, I mean, if I had my way, I would have it, you know, a couple inches longer. But the problem was they wouldn't eat the 40. So, you know, we were stuck fishing 30 for those 60 to 100-pound fish, you know. So, I mean, so as it was, this thing, it was like air, but it was powerful, you know, and implementing it at this angle on the rail, you know.
With that material, super lightweight.
Oh, it's
too.
super light, but it's super strong. I mean, this
strong,
material
yeah.
came out of NASA, you know. It's
Yeah.
state-of-the-art stuff. It's
Yeah.
not, I don't,
It's not like.
when you
that
guys
stuff that-
fish, I don't like to play around with any, you know, thing that we've used for
Yeah.
100 years. It's gonna be state-of-the-art material, and it's gonna have function that, it's gonna be different from anything else out there. Yeah, but it's
Yep.
gonna,
Insane.
How about you, Joe, Pete? Do you want to recommend a 50, 60 pound rod that you like?
yeah.
I've been, the last couple of years, I've been fishing the Graph-Tex. I like them. They're a nice rod. They've got some good backbone to them and stuff. As far as my go-to reel, I'm a Talica guy. I love the Talica 2-speeds. The 16, beautiful. Even the 12 that I brought with me today to kind of show this off. But yeah, that's my go-to for fishing 60. Yeah, but like last year and the year before, we were getting this foaming stuff, this 60 to 120 pound fish. You couldn't really get bit on 60 pound. You get bit on 40. You got
That's-
bit
I was just
no
saying, that was
problem
almost-
on 40. But
Yeah, it was like our
60?
Freedom trip, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough.
It was tough.
and you needed the 60, you know, or else you're gonna
Right,
get
right.
worked. You're
Well,
gonna-
you know, I mean, and for us to assess it, I mean, I'm sitting there with 30 captains. So you talk about competitive.
Oh yeah.
So I had, you know, so Phil knows. I mean, you got 30 guys that are excellent fishermen. You know, you just have to put it out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, a 30-pound was all I could get them to eat. We couldn't get them to eat 40. So here we're stuck. So you might as, you know, so fortunately it was that rod, that graphite, so it was recoiling. But I straightened out a couple hooks. I had some, you know, but we were able to put a few on, which was good. You know.
Right,
But,
right.
But yeah, game changer.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
Pete?
absolutely.
G. Loomis, I have a great relationship with the Shimano brothers over the years, and but I think I'm going to be switching to Semper Fish here when things get
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, me too.
No doubt about it.
We
yeah.
back our man.
It's
Danny
getting ready, yeah.
Cadota.
And I like my
100%.
I like my Talica. You know, I have an 8, 10, 12, and a 16. You know, they seem to be a great reel, and the 2-speed. You know, new to my supply. Never had that for years and years. So, you know, the Trinidads are good, but
We caught
you
a
know.
lot of fish on those Trinidad.
Oh, yeah, we did.
you know.
Pretty hard to beat that button, though, at
Yeah,
our
I
age.
know, oh, I know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even the Calcutta, remember we were
Oh, yeah,
catching
yeah,
albacore on the
yeah.
Calcutta
Yeah.
400s, remember?
Yeah,
Level wind.
yeah.
That's
All
what
right.
it is.
Albert Pond says $900 to enter the Ensenada tournament. So 9 bills, almost $1,000, but man, you can win 20 G's. Greg Silks says all lakes are coming up. Big bass and stripers are up. And look, Greg, I give your product a plug here. See that,
Ooh.
Greg?
Greg,
owe
you're
me
making
now.
baits.
Huh?
I had no
Did you
idea.
know that?
No.
Check it out. Greg Silks baits, everybody.
Holy
Look at that, mantis.
smokes.
They smoked the lingcod. And I gave some to Bill Wilkerson and a bunch of other people, so good stuff. All right.
Wow.
Hey, Chuck. Chuck says Danny should come to Santa Ana River Lakes. We're going to do a whole thing there. Danny will be there, I guarantee you. Hey, Chuck, by the way, I haven't had time to call you. I'm
Absolutely.
going to call you on the way to home tonight if I get a chance. We have to talk. I got discounts working for the Friedman Adventures Santa Ana River Lakes Day. There's something else I was working on with you. Oh, down there in Mexico, the other thing, I'm going to talk to that guy tomorrow and figure that all out. So we're rolling along here. We got that all going. Don't think I'm ignoring you. I love you very much. Fernando wants to know when the Long Beach show is. And let's see, Albert Ponce comes right in and says it's the 29th of this month, March, until the 2nd. It's at the Long Beach Convention Center. Just Google Fernando, Bart, B-A-R-T, Hall, H-A-L-L, show. And you'll get even more information. But thank
Oh,
you, Albert, for doing that. We appreciate it. Charles, I'm in for the Santa Ana River Lakes, especially because Joe, Pete, and Danny are going to be there, whether they know it or not.
No
Going
problem.
to be there.
That's,
Look
you
at
know,
Joe. Joe's going to bring, hey, Joe,
Absolutely.
bring that thing. And
Let's go, yeah.
we'll
Lunker
screw those
bass.
trout into the dirt. All right, Isaac, any thoughts on Abbott's? They changed the small, real, big fish game. You guys fish Abbott's? Anybody like them? Anybody not like them?
I have fished
I have
them,
one,
and,
yeah.
I like them. Yeah,
yeah,
they're phenomenal reel.
I'm fishing all accurates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Around accurates. And Daiwas for my freshwater
Abbott's
stuff. and-
drag is nice.
Superior?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. All right, they love them. Greg Silks is already saying thank you. See?
all right,
you know,
Greg.
that's,
Well, Greg has been around for a long, long time. I mean,
Product placement,
Striper
man.
King.
Joe's
Striper
just like
King.
gonna pick it up and down every once in a
There you
while.
go, guys.
See that?
Yeah.
There you are, Greg.
They're beautiful.
Man, there you go. There's not gonna be any left after tonight.
Yeah.
Danny, any news on when orders for the rods will open up? Isaac, the $20 man wants
You
to
know what? We soon. All I can tell you is soon. You know, Brad, who was in here last week. I mean, they've got things going.
That was a great
and
show.
and we're going to be. You know, it's getting the handles. We also have sourced thanks to the last show, and we'll see everybody at the Fred Hall too. And I told Bart, Phil, that you and I would walk around. We'd come see him, and
We'll be there.
We'll be doing the show too. But we put together a deal with Sea Guide. And so, you know, we've been trying over the last few years and having a tough time with componentry because of the shutdowns in China, you know, and them owning the whole manufacturing for the fishing tackle industry over there and controlling that. And so now we went with the Sea Guides, and I think we're going to use exclusive Sea Guides. I'm very happy with it. And Rick Hall, who's, you know, representative, he's gonna let us, make a big push on them, and I'm gonna push the heck out of them because they
Wonderful,
look
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Great, great.
Any final thoughts? Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Nobody has green on out there, but
Wait,
you're not
wait.
required to have green.
Oh, got it. No, no green.
Hey, where's those great silk spades? What color are those? You better pass that around to everybody.
my green on.
Yeah, there you are. Great silk saves today on St. Patrick's Day. Everybody has green.
There we
I
go.
got a green shirt on. man,
Perfect.
so I'm covered.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Anything?
No, I think
anything
we're
else?
good. But thanks for tuning in, folks.
Yeah, and
thanks for joining.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Pete and Joe. Yeah.
this display will be at the Independence booth at the Bart Hall show. So if you guys want to check it out in person, you can check it out there.
You got like 9,000 views when I added up TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I mean, people are nuts about that.
Yeah, if you guys are interested, once again, telephone number, you can text me 310-497-0600. More than happy to answer any questions you guys have. But I highly recommend it.
All right. Hey, Albert Ponce just grabbed those lures. I'll do anything for Albert. I love him and his
Awesome.
family and his wife Crystal, the kids. So Albert's gonna don't let me forget. All right, Joe. I got to bring some of these because
Okay.
like 2 seconds from now I will forget.
Oh, I'm gonna help you.
All right,
I'm
you're gonna help me out to
Yeah,
the car.
yeah,
I hope. Yeah,
yeah.
I need help. All right, great show, everybody. Go get some dinner. Everybody's saying
Thank you,
great
everybody.
show as always.
Thank
says
you, guys.
Joe. All the comments are coming in. They love you guys.
All right.
All right,
Tight
you guys
lines.
wave goodbye, and I'll hit the button here.